Welcome to part 4 of the Introduction to Humanism, where we will discuss the values and ideals of the humanist philosophy. For the purposes of this introduction, I am going to focus on what I consider to be the 4 most important ideals of humanism. For me, these are the dignity and worth of individual humans, compassion, free thought, and responsibility or human agency. It is important to remember 3 very important things. First, there is more to humanism than just these 4 values. Second, we humanists like to argue and debate philosophy. So, while most humanists will agree with how important these 4 values are, many others will argue that the order is wrong or that a slight variation in wording would have been better. Which brings me to my final and most important point. This is just an introduction. If you want to learn more, there's a wealth of information for you to explore the philosophy further. The first and most important value we hold as humanists is the belief in the dignity and worth of our fellow human beings. But what does that mean to respect the dignity and worth of others? And why is this concept so important that it has been codified into laws all over the world? The answer can only be found within the philosophy of humanism. There are currently over 6 billion people on our planet, and each one of those human beings is a real person, just like you. They have real issues, real struggles, real families, and real dreams, just like you. They can be hurt, just like you can, and they can feel emotional pain, just like you can. Once you get this, and I mean really get this, not only will you respect other people as the individuals they are, your compassion will start demanding that you treat others as you would treat yourself. Compassion is one of the most important values you can have. Fortunately, once you understand that other people feel love, pain, and sorrow just like you do, compassion should come naturally. When you are compassionate, you understand that helping people is good and hurting people is bad. Almost all value systems around the world hold that it is impossible to be a good person without also being a compassionate person. This is because, ideally, compassion is our moral compass. It acts as the final arbitrator between our other competing values. For humanists, the call of compassion serves another purpose. We know that we cannot transcend societal problems such as racism, genderism, and theocratic disputes without transcending the tribalism that is at the root of those views. And we can only transcend those biased views with compassion. Humanism employs free thought as its primary mode of thinking. There is no prescription on what to think, only that you engage in free thought while doing your thinking. Free thinkers attempt to free their reasoning of any self-imposed or society-imposed limitations. The goal is to eliminate any biases or prejudices that might lead to false conclusions. What makes free thought so difficult is it requires a lot of self-discipline to realize when you are limiting your thinking and to actively consider alternatives. For this reason, humanists are often very skeptical people who love a lively debate. But we aren't being contrary or skeptical just to be negative. We are mostly just trying to ensure that we ourselves are engaging in free thought. And believe it or not, we consider skepticism to be a very optimistic activity. We know that disciplining our minds with free thought has rewards in the here and now. To put it simply, free thought helps us solve our problems more effectively than other forms of thought. The most important reason humanists adhere to the discipline of free thought is because it improves our moral reasoning, and good moral reasoning makes for good moral people. Well, compassion is about what you think, and free thought is about how you think. Personal responsibility is about how you actually act. It's not enough to want to do good. You can only be a good person by actually doing good things. People often treat responsibility as if it were a bad word, something we should avoid if we want to be happy. But humanists know that just the opposite is true. Freedom, and therefore happiness, can only be achieved through responsibility. When you accept responsibility for your life, you gain control over it in a way that is unparalleled. No longer a victim of fate, you can do something to improve your life and the lives of those around you. And it is this belief that is perhaps one of the most radical aspects of the humanist philosophy. The number of people on our planet today who do not believe that they have the ability to change their lives or the outcomes of their fate is astounding. But for humanists, it's one of our core beliefs. And this is why personal responsibility is so important. Because we have the power to create change in the world, we therefore have a moral responsibility to make sure that change is for the better.